The PACT Act is a new hope for those who are fighting for benefits or those who have been denied disability benefits due to Agent Orange or other toxins. So here with us today to raise awareness is Greg Steen, CEO of Senior Care Advocate. So I was doing a little research, and this is good news for vets out there. So what's the PACT Act?
It's great news. It's probably the biggest new law that's come down the pike for the VA ever, and it's such great news. So it was really designed to go back and correct a lot of wrongful denials and open up presumptive claims for people that were maybe in the past having to prove that everything they were suffering from was, service connected, when in reality they shouldn't have to prove it. And so it really opens up so much. It's also for surviving spouses, anybody that was, denied in the past, they can go back and have that reopened.
Yeah.
So it's amazing news. It's great news.
It really is. And it comes from such an interesting time in American history. So tell us why this is so important.
Well, first of all, I think we deserve, our veterans deserve everything we can do for them because, they're at risk, obviously, and a lot of them never came back. So when they have things like, home loans or education benefits or, service-connected benefits, those are awesome and they're very, very good, but there's so much more there. And the VA says, their own quote is that for all their benefits, less than 50% of all veterans take advantage of any of them. So I think it's important that we obviously recognize they're there and then help people steer them in the right direction. Because there's so many veterans that are suffering. I mean, obviously the homeless, we all know about that. Homeless veterans, it's really sad, but there's so many that are just not being helped and they're suffering. And so
why do you think that is? I mean, so my boyfriend was in the Army, and he talks about that a lot, that there are so many benefits that people either don't know about or they don't know how to access. So why do you think that is?
A couple things. Sadly, I think the VA doesn't do a great job of informing vets upon return. Secondly, the veteran service offices are well-meaning people, great people, but completely overwhelmed and can only do basically what's, the task at hand. They don't have time to follow up and whatnot. The educational aspect of the VA is really lacking. But also you have veterans, maybe not like, the younger ones, but the older ones that are kind of not wanting to be a burden on the system. So they'll say things like, hey, I'm okay, leave it for those who need it more. That type of thing. But I think the big thing is just not understanding what's there.
And not really understanding what the purpose is, because leaving it for somebody that's there is a really good intention, but really you're just leaving benefits on the table going unused.
Absolutely.
And so we want people to be able to tap into that. So you mentioned when we're talking about the PACT Act that surviving spouses can qualify.
Absolutely.
And so what might they qualify for?
So they can qualify for back pay based upon an award that should have been given. They can qualify sometimes for an indemnity benefit, which is ongoing income. They can qualify maybe for a service-connected pension through that. That's ongoing income. And so there's, lots of ways of helping people because, a lot of these spouses, especially for the older generation, they paid a price too, right? When their loved one went off, and served, they were there. They kind of held down the fort and did a lot of things that they had to do. I think that they should get something. Absolutely.
I mean, you operate as a family unit, and so your benefit should be awarded to the family unit. So the PACT Act is it specifically for people that might have had repercussions because of Agent Orange and other toxins, or does it cover people who were asked to prove that they had a service-related injury or something like that?
So, good question. The short answer is yes. It's for basically, Agent Orange, all the toxins, airborne type of things. And it's also for people that were denied that could go back, and now that these things are presumed to be, caused by this,
Right.
the VA would basically rubber stamp it and say, yes, that was a cause. We owed you money. We're going to go back and pay you those
Yeah.
monies. So it's not for just anybody and everybody that has any kind of service-connected
Sure.
issue. But the great thing is on va.gov, there's so much information as far as every type of thing that's covered, how you qualify, how you can apply, the process, the timelines. It's very, very specific. I literally was just on it before we came on, and it's like, man, they actually did a great job this time, of putting it all there. And so
that's great. And I do hear that sometimes. That sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
the VA is really good for people who use it in whatever way they use it, and then sometimes, it might fall a little bit short. But that's where senior care advocates can come in and help direct them to the care that they might need or the resources that are available, because your whole world is researching resources, and a lot of our veterans are seniors.
Mm-hmm.
So they just call that number there on the screen to get in touch with you, right?
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the best number. And just real quick, if you're out there and you just are having struggles, call, because there's no cost consultation. But also, if you're working in the VA system, find a social worker. It's the key to everything.
Okay, great. Steve always comes back with good information, always brings good information, enlightening stuff. We appreciate it.